All right, welcome back everyone. In this video, we are going to look at the Splunk in the real practical environment. Okay, so let me take you through the dashboard and all the features around it. All right, so this is how the dashboard really looks like. You see the but before we go ahead, understand this in this Splunk, whatever you see as a part of dashboard or anything, it's all a part of an app. Okay, so we are currently in a specific app. That's the name of this app is basically search and reporting. Okay, so now if we need to, if I just click on Splunk Enterprise, you can get to see all the apps, but I click on search and reporting, so I only see this. Right, this is the default app. This, you don't really have to install it, it comes by default. Okay, what you have is on the top, you have the administrator information, account setting, preference, and everything. Message, wherever you have any alert related to the appliance software, that there is a storage issue, or you need to create some partition in order to accommodate more logs or something. All those messages comes here. Then this setting tab, this is where you have to work with quite a lot of stuff. Let's say it's a fresh setup. Mostly you would be having a live environment, but if it's a fresh setup, in that case you have to add data, right? So let's say I click on add data. So what happens is you get a lot of possibility, and there are multiple data sources. Now, what are data sources? Data sources are the endpoints, the one who is ready to push the data. It could be network, routers, switches, it could be firewall, it could be your Windows server, Ubuntu server, or a desktop. Let's consider operating system. I click on it, and I have one option as an operating system currently available as a part of inbuilt. So once it is done, then it asks you to choose the collection method. I go ahead and forward data to the Splunk. That's the only best practice we have. So there are three steps. First, the collection method. Then we go ahead and it will give you a configuration and deployment method. You have three methods here. Either you can make use of Splunk Cloud, where all the data will be pushed to the Splunk Cloud environment, or you have single instances or distributed instances. Mostly organizations have distributed instances and Splunk Cloud. In case of Splunk Cloud, organizations don't really have to maintain the heavy servers and the large infrastructure, distributed infrastructure, and they don't really have to manage the connectivity and everything. But with distributed, it's a responsibility of the organization itself to manage all the forwarder, all the indexers, and then actual server as well. So in our case, all the components resides in the same server. So all indexer, forwarder, dashboard is all on a single platform, and it is accessible on a local server port, which is localhost on port 8080, right? So we just click on single instance, and you see it's giving you an idea how the deployment would really looks like. So what you need to do is, on your Windows servers on here, you need to install an agent, a software. That's name of the software is the Splunk Universal Forwarder. So the moment you install it, it will ask you to set the IP address and the port number of your server. Okay, so currently, whatever the IP address of my server is, I need to specify that, and I'll be good to go. So once I specify that, then I can go ahead and install it in the real world environment. Currently, it is my lab setup, lab Windows setup. So I'm using it on my lab setup itself. So once I go ahead and do next, it won't really execute unless I configure the universal forwarder. Now let's let's say you have a firewall, maybe let's consider another environment where you have a security appliances. In that case, maybe it's semantic, or it's giving you an option of McAfee, Active Directory, semantic input. This is for antivirus system. You also have networking in case you want to set up same system for Palo Alto. Now this is a bit different because you can't really install any software on the firewalls, right? So again, this would be exactly the same. You can select the single instance, and under the configuration setup, then you have an environment which says this is where, this is on the left, you have your Palo Alto appliance. But you see, you cannot really install any agent on your firewalls. So what you need to do is you need to set by default all the firewalls or any network devices have capability to push the logs to the syslog servers. So this is where the Palo Alto will define the syslog server IP address to syslog server, and which would be a dedicated server, of course. And that's where it can then install a Splunk universal forwarder. Okay, so this could be a Windows or Linux machine, but it can of course install the Splunk universal forwarder, and from there we'll be pushing the logs to our Splunk. All right, so that's how we are going to collect and add the data into the system, right? So this is all about it. Event type, data models. Once we have the data, we can then click on it. Or else, whatever you see on over here, you can get to see, on the top as well. Let me just give you an idea quickly. So if I come here in the search and reporting, you again see the search, analytics, data sets, reports, alerts, dashboards as well. Okay, so if you search is something which we make use of it to get all the logs. So it starts with the index, and then we specify what index module we are talking about. So accordingly it would work. So let's say currently we are, but make sure you have something in your system, right? So if let's say I search this, and you can specify the timings, maybe 30 seconds, 1 minute window, 5 minutes, or all time. And then click on search, and then you should see logs. That would be tremendous amount of logs that would be coming across the network, and this would be the logs. Now you might wonder, how exactly am I getting this? Well, I'll share you a link, and about how you can get some sample logs on your system, because currently the Splunk is not really connected to any real world environment, but I could still see some logs. These are all sample logs. I have got around 60 or 20 GB of logs from an external account. So I'll share you the links that you can download, and you can extract, and then you can move those logs to a specific folder. So I'll give you the detail as well. For now, just understand this is the name of that file, the name of that entire folder which I downloaded, which has some sample logs. Now this is really helpful to understand what all I could do. I can just click on the index and I can get all the logs. On the left hand side you see the logs based on host. You can filter based on the host as well, based on source machine and source type as well. So I can specify that too. Maybe let's say if you want to say source as maybe anything, maybe you just want to specify what should be your source is. So accordingly, or maybe host. Maybe let's say I have a specific host name available. So the moment you type that, you get auto suggestion into the system. So maybe I don't really have the name at this moment, but what I could actually do is I can go here. I can look at, okay, there's one host, Venus, sorry, and I can just type here, and I would get all the logs for Venus, and wonderful. Can you see this? Now this is the logs for individual system coming in from the host Venus. This is the source as Windows registry, source type as the Windows registry itself, and this is the logs related to some Windows, semantic endpoints protection. Okay. Now what you can do other than this is you can go to the analytics, you can prepare the dashboard, you can look at the data sets. Data sets are nothing but a set of data prepared to fulfill a specific needs. So for anonymized email logs, we have as different data sets. For local user account creations, we have a different data set. That's help us to segregate the logs in a specific way. I'll talk about this in the later videos as well. There is a reports. You have a default report type which you can make use of. You can get to download reports based on errors in past 24 hours or 1 day, or license usage, data cubes, everything. Alerts, if you have any. If you can also create a dashboard. What do I mean by that? It's basically whatever the output you receive. Let's say I just typed something and I got the output, right? Let's say I type index. I want the logs from this machine, right? All the logs, and whatever I got it, I can just create, I can just save as a new dashboard. You can see the save as. I can probably add this in my existing dashboard, or I can even create a new dashboard and add it over here itself. So that's how it really works. Or I can even create a dashboard over here as well. So I can get to see some analytics and everything over there. All right. So I think you got all the features about how exactly it works. Because it's a older log, there's no real time logs coming in. Make sure you click on all time, then only you would be able to see the result. Okay. And you also have an option to create a table. Once you get the logs, you can assure how your log should look like. So once you click on create table, you select the right right index. Then you can select all the source type. The source type could be of anything. It could be of Linux machine, Symantec machine, McAfee machine, endpoint, firewall, servers, Windows, Linux, anything. Then you can go next, and it would show you all the logs. And from there you can you can choose how exactly your table should look like. Okay. And that's how you can sort, you can filter, you can summarize everything, right? And then finally you can save it. Okay, so I think you got the idea about how Splunk really looks like. In the next video, probably we'll talk about the Splunk security journey and how we can make use of some interesting apps to to make use of some test cases and use cases, of course. Yeah, thank you.